This is one of those pieces of gear that you don't realize how valuable it is and how useful it is until you actually have one. It's the Mackie Big Knob Passive, and it's a monitor controller, but it has so many more useful features. Plus, it includes a software license that's pretty nice too. So let's have a look at what makes this Mackie Big Knob Passive so useful. Plus, I'll tell you one feature that I really wish it had. And if you're thinking of getting a monitor controller or any studio gear, be sure to visit Sweetwater. They have tons of studio gear in stock every day at great prices, and they ship it super quick so you can get it in your studio right away. But before we talk about the features on the Mackie Big Knob Passive, I just want to talk about the build quality of this thing. It says right on the box, built like a tank, and they're not lying. This thing is solid metal. It's actually pretty heavy, and even the knob on here, it's solid metal as well. When I was looking at it online, I thought maybe this was plastic. This is metal. This whole thing is solid metal. It is built like a tank. Now, let's check out some of the features. So the very basics of what this does is you can connect two sets of monitors to here, and you can also connect two input sources. So if you have two audio interfaces and you want to share the same monitors, you can do that. You would just push a button for input source 1 or 2, and then push the other button for output source 1 or 2. So you could connect this to a mixer, a stereo system if you want, and maybe you want to have the input as your laptop audio interface and then the other input as your desktop computer interface, or maybe your tablet, something like that. You can easily do that with this, and then there's no messing around in behind your audio interface to unplug cables, plug them back in, and that sort of thing. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, because I use two audio interfaces in here, and I really don't like reaching in behind and having to switch the monitors over to the other audio interface, or maybe not even using the monitors because I just don't want to do it. One of my audio interfaces is rack mounted. The other one is over here. They're on different sides of the room. So this is going to make it so easy for me to switch back and forth. Also, I have a second set of monitors that I've been dying to set up so I can A/B test my mixes on two different sets of monitors. And now I can do that without having to disconnect things and reconnect them. Everything's going to be connected on here. So that's the very basics of how this thing works. And this is passive, so you don't have to plug it in. It frees up an outlet in your wall. If you have a ton of studio gear like I do, freeing up an outlet is a big deal. So no power needed for this. It's purely passive. So like I said, you can connect two inputs to this, but say you want to bring your tablet in as well, or maybe your laptop computer, and just connect the input of that, maybe temporarily, not as a permanent thing. On the back here, you have a 3.5 millimeter line input where you can connect an aux cable from your laptop, your tablet, whatever it is. You can connect that in there. And when that's connected, it overrides whatever your B input is. So if you switch this to B, when something's connected there, it's going to go to whatever that temporary source is. Maybe it's a third audio interface that you want to check out. You can easily do that with this. And you'll also notice there's more buttons on here. So what do these extra features do? Well, you have a mono button. Push that in and you're going to be able to hear what your mixes sound like in mono. It's a very useful tool. I use it all the time because my audio interface has it built in, but I have to reach up and over to access that button. Now I can just access it right here. And it's going to be on my desktop. There's a mute button on here. So the phone rings or something like that, you have to mute the sound quickly and you don't want to turn the volume down. Maybe you have it set to a really nice setting. Just press mute and it's going to shut everything down. There's a dim button. And what this does is it lowers the volume by 20 decibels. So maybe you don't want to completely mute it. You still want it in the background, but you just want to talk to somebody in the room. You can just dim it, do your talking, undim it, and everything's back to normal. So like I said earlier, it comes with a software license that's pretty nice. Now we'll look at that in just a second, but if you're looking for studio gear of any kind, could be audio interfaces, microphones, headphones, whatever it is you need, Sweetwater has it. And you can talk to one of their sales engineers. You can tell them what it is you want and what you want it to do, and they'll make sure you get exactly what it is that you need, and they can even tell you how you're going to set it up. Just in case you're wondering about that that Sweetwater is an excellent place to buy your gear. They have tons of it in stock every day, great prices, fast shipping, and they even offer some flexible payment plans if you should need that. So be sure to visit Sweetwater before you purchase your next gear. Now, that software license that I mentioned is for Tracktion Waveform OEM. Now, Waveform OEM is very similar to the free version. It's completely unlocked, so you get unlimited tracks, you can bring in VSTs, whatever you want. But in the OEM version, you also get the collective instrument, which is huge. It has lots of great sounds in it. Plus, you get the DAW Essentials effects bundle, and you can use those in other DAWs as well if you want. And you also get the Mix DSP plugin that's in Tracktion Waveform. So this really has everything that I want in a monitor controller. I can connect 2 input sources, 2 output sources, and then I have all those extra buttons on the front. It's more than what I really wanted for a monitor controller. But there is one more thing that I really would have liked to have on here. It's not a deal breaker or anything, and that's a headphone jack. I wish I could just plug a headphone jack into here, so if I switched inputs, I wouldn't have to unplug my headphones and plug it into the other input and then plug it back in over there. It's not a deal breaker because plugging in your headphones into the front of an audio interface really isn't that difficult. It's when you're digging around the back and maybe having to move a rack out of the way so you can access those monitor outputs. That's where it becomes a big pain, and this takes care of all of that pain. And if you want an excellent rack-mounted audio interface with tons of features, and it's fairly affordable, click the video on the screen. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating. Fist bump. Thumbs up.